Strategy can be hard, which is why so many business leaders outsource their strategic thinking to management consultants. But strategy is about making choices that differentiate you from the competition. So simply copying what others do isn't really a real strategy. In this short video, with the help of Wardy Maps, we're going to make strategy as simple as possible so you can start doing this yourself for your business. We start with the strategy cycle from Sun Tzu's Art of War, which breaks strategy down into 5 essential factors or 5 steps. You start with a mission, but you must be ready to adapt as the game unfolds. Think of this like a game of chess. Your purpose is to win, but you need to adapt as the game unfolds, making choices about which pieces to move where. This reveals the 2 important whys of strategy. The why of purpose, why are we doing this, which is your mission or your aim, and the why of movement, which explains why you're making these moves here and not some other moves elsewhere. In order to make strategic moves, you need to be able to see the wider landscape you're operating in first, and a map is a really good tool for doing this. Maps enable you to scan your landscape quickly, communicate more easily with others, and learn about your options for action. Despite maps being used widely in all walks of life, there are surprisingly few businesses who use them. Of course, many businesses have things they call maps, like mind maps, road maps, or process maps. But these aren't real maps, as they lack 3 essential characteristics. An anchor, in this case a compass, which provides you a consistent sense of direction. The position of relevant components, such as landmarks, relative to the anchor. And this provides you with a way to move between them. For example, if you want to go from Buckingham Palace to the Shard, the maps show you a few options, but they all involve moving east across London. Wardy Maps also possess these 3 essential characteristics. They have an anchor, in this case a customer, which provides a consistent focus. They all show the position of components of your business through the eyes of your customers. The more visible the components are to your customers, the more they value them. And the map shows the movement of these components, from being uncertain and risky on the left of the map, towards becoming more industrialized and less risky on the right-hand side of the map. Once you have a map, you can see the wider landscape and you can then start to apply climatic patterns to it. These are the common, recurring economic patterns that affect all of the players, so we call them the economic rules of the game. In the Wardy mapping method, there are 30 rules of the game that have been identified. Applying even a few of these basic patterns to your map will help you anticipate how your landscape is changing. And because you've got a map, you can now invite other specialists to challenge your assumptions and identify new options for actions, which you can start to explore together. That is the essence of strategy. Now you have 2 classes of moves to make: universally useful moves and context-specific moves. Universal moves are those that are beneficial to everyone, regardless of their context. These are 40 universally useful principles or habits and skills that will improve your business's ability to implement strategy. They are grouped into 6 categories: communication, development, operations, learning, leading and structure, and are adopted in 4 phases, each building on the previous phase. Simply using maps helps you adopt some of these principles automatically. For example, maps are the common language people from different functions need to understand each other. But you can also use maps to adopt some of the more advanced principles, like deploying cell-based teams, using different cultures, and appropriate methods of project management. The other class of moves are context-specific. These are moves which only work in specific situations. There are entire playbooks of moves you can make, which is why you don't need to be copying what others did in the past. Because, with a better understanding of your landscape, and the ability to anticipate change and a knowledge of context-specific moves, you can now start to shape the future to your advantage. You won't need others to do your strategic thinking for you. You'll be able to determine for yourself where you should attack and how to execute killer moves more effectively. Then, you execute and continue to loop around the strategy cycle, learning more and more about your environment and how it's changing and discovering the new moves you can make. And this is strategy made simple. All it takes is a few hours to learn. And despite what you read, most of your rivals aren't playing chess. They're simply copying and pasting what others are doing because they find strategy hard. Which means, if you get started with real strategy today, you can start learning how to win tomorrow and leave your rivals in the dust. If you'd like to discover how you can start doing real-time strategy and execution, Go to powermaps.net and see what we can do for you.